control what we're looking at because we would not like you to get into it. Perhaps it's good to just tell them that openly. And again, the next thing is that if we give the children enough other stuff, no, if you give them enough other
activities to do.
activities and other hobbies and other things to do, if their
Yeah.
life is interesting, they will not want to get into this quite so
Correct,
much.
correct.
And
Yeah.
also we need to give them maybe the religious side to it, okay?
Mm.
To tell them that, look, we value and respect each other and we should not, porn is actually demeaning to people. There's a nice quote from actually, I think Pope Francis, which said that it's not that porn shows more of people. The problem with porn is that it shows too little of people. It's showing only the body. It's not
Correct.
showing the mind. It's not showing the character of the person. No. So it is actually robbing us of a healthy relationship by making us think that only the body is important in a relationship or even in a sexual relationship. Whereas actually it is two people relating to each other. It's not just two bodies relating to each other. So over time, we have to explain this to the children that, look, this is what sex is about. This is what a relationship is about. We ideally are going for a permanent, you know, permanent relationship between a man and a woman, which will be uh, encompassing so many areas, not only sexual, it's also emotional. It's also you're sharing a home, you're sharing finances, you're sharing children. So it's a complete sharing. It's not only the body. So we need to be able to talk about this and slowly. It's not an easy thing to handle, but we can hope and trust that God will help us to deal with it, and He will also save our children from addictions of this type.
Yeah, okay. So to basically protect your kids from porn, it's good to have a talk,
Yes, I
anticipating
think
they will get into
prevention is
it.
much better than cure in all of
Right.
these things.
Yeah,
We need to talk about it, and
yeah.
we
Make
need
them
to look
aware before.
ahead. I said earlier, parenting is often looking ahead. We need to prepare the children for
Yeah.
what is to come.
So it could be that
Yes,
you take these measures in pre-teen stage itself.
no, preteen stage might be too early. Okay,
Well,
preteen stage might be too early, but you can always prepare them and tell them that, look, I remember. See, this thing used to come up when our kids were small. This came up in books. Internet was not such an issue then
right.
because we didn't have access. But there were lots of books in the house, many books. So some books would have explicit sex scenes, right? Some books have it. So I remember they wanted to read. I think it was a God of Small Things, which is a very interesting book and it's a good book, and I think Christians should read it. But when the children wanted to read it when they were around 10 years old or something like that, I told them that, look, this book is not good for you now. It will create all sorts of disturbing pictures and disturbing thoughts and emotions in your mind, which I don't want you to think about now. When you're older, you can read it. You're free to read it. It's there in the house. You can read it at any time when you're older. But I don't want you to read it now.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And the
Okay.
children were actually very happy with that answer. They didn't even want to read it after that. I'm sure they've read it now. Okay. And,
Yeah.
so I think it's just good to prepare ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some questions in the box. What about
Yeah.
the case of adolescents with broken family background from the beginning? What is the best way to help them? Yes. So even if there's a broken family background, the thing is that the parent ideally should allow the uh, other. I mean, if it's always good to part amicably from your ex, okay, so that parenting at least can continue. Even in a sort of dysfunctional breakup, we should try to protect the children from thinking that the other parent is bad or the other parent doesn't love them. Because if we are removing one parent's influence completely from the child, see, unless the other person is completely dysfunctional, if they are very violent, if they're very abusive, it's possible that sometimes it's not going to happen. But otherwise, try and allow the child to have the benefit of the other parent. It's not good to rob the child of the parent because you all have broken up. So ideally, that is again one preventive measure which we should take, that protect the child from some of the negative consequences of this by allowing a healthy interaction between both parents and the child, no matter how the breakup goes. And if that is not happening, there should be another male or female role model who can take the place of the spouse who is not
Yeah.
active in the child's life. It's
Yeah.
not easy, but with a lot of effort, it's possible to teach the child that, look, this happened to me, doesn't have to happen to you. But if we make the mistake of saying, if I'm a woman and I've gone through it, and I say that all men are like that, or if it's a man who has gone through a bad divorce and he tells the child that all women are like that, you can't trust them and all that. If you teach all these things, then the child grows up embittered towards the other parent
Yeah.
and
Right.
also get a wrong idea of sex and relationships and all that. So it
Yeah.
depends on us. Not easy, but it can be done. Okay.
There's a
Next
question in the
question.
private chat before that. I just like to read that.
All
How to
right.
private chat to me sent directly anonymous question. How to
Tell me.
handle a teenager boy who believes if the parent can't take the phone away from can't take the phone, then he can also take the parent's phone away. So if the parents can take the phone away, then he can also take the parents' phone. When he's always doing tit for tat, always arguing and trying to be defiant. Wouldn't do things when told to do. Always would want to have his own way.
Okay. See, this is pretty common that children want to have their own way. As I said, they function on their emotional center, right? And they are not able to judge that they are not behaving right or anything like that. So I think we need to be very patient with such children, and to also take it with a little bit of humor and say that, all right, you want to take my phone, that you may want, but you're not going to get that because you're not the parent I am. So you can say the same thing in a slightly laughing way, no? You can say it in a playful way. But I think also that this happens if we have allowed the child to sort of
Dominate.
think, yeah, to dominate, to bully us into submission. Sometimes this happens that we are scared of the child.
Mm.
So we are not able to tell the child that, no, this is not okay. But I think probably you need to sit down with the child and explain to them that, look, whatever it is, I am the parent and you're going to have to listen to me. So don't say it in an angry way. Remember that picture that I put up where you're discussing the conflict? You are the parent. The mother had her arm on the child's shoulder, no? So you're showing that, look, I am the parent, I'm talking to you. You have to have that sense of responsibility that I am telling you. So that is there. You can say what you want. If what you're saying, so what is the child actually saying when he's saying that I can take your phone? What he's saying is that you're not being fair, or you're not using the same uh, standard for yourself and for me. You're saying I'm on the phone all the time, but you are also on the phone all the time. That may be what he's saying. So you have to read between the lines, and you have to tell him that, okay, what you're saying is correct. We all need to restrict our phone usage. So, right, it's good you pointed it out to me. I'm also prone to this. So, yes, we will both keep our phones away for this amount of time. So, look beyond what the child is saying to what the actual complaint is. Okay, I
Yeah,
hope I'm
Doctor.
making sense.
Yeah, but Dr. Jamila, if the child has already sized up his parents that they cannot go beyond this. I know them. What can they do? And in that case, would it be fine for parents to set an ultimatum that if you're going to continue this way, you can leave the house? Would that work?
I think that's a very extreme thing to say. I mean, why would you want to tell the child to leave the house? As
Okay.
I'm saying, no, I think the actual issue is that the boy is saying, if you're taking my phone for spending too much time on it, I've seen cases like this. Usually, this is the issue, that what they're saying is, you are on the phone all the time. It's okay for you, but when I'm on the phone, you want to take my phone. So if you're taking my phone, I will take your phone. That's what the child is saying. So
Mhm.
the actual point is that he's saying that you have to practice what you preach, and which is
Yeah.
not wrong. So I think a little humility from the parents is probably going to be more effective than saying, get out of the house.
Mhm.
So giving
Right.
these ultimatums is not, what sense does that make? Why would you want to make your child insecure by saying that? No.
Okay. Okay.
So I think it's much more sensible to say that, look, what you're saying is correct. Let's figure out how much time we all should spend on our phones. If you're spending, if you want to spend half an hour, that's fine. Okay. And I'll keep my phone away when you're
Yeah.
home in the evening so that we have time to spend together. Fine. It's done. So you have
Yeah.
to show
That's
that parental authority also by saying it like that. And we need to be sensitive enough to see
right.
what the child is actually saying. rather than going by the words. The words are, I'll take your phone. It's a very fighting thing to say. But actually, he's saying that you're
Yeah,
not being fair.
right.
Okay.
There's one more question on the private chat. I have twin
Okay.
boys who are 19 plus. They seem to enjoy staying away from home whenever possible. Friends are their first priority. They don't think they need to keep us informed if where they are going and when they are coming back. The father has been silent and never insisted on disciplining them. So I am the villain in the house who insists on permission and other stuff. They feel I'm not understanding and I'm no one to stop them. Sometimes I feel I have failed as a parent. Father has pampered and spoiled them by way of wrong modeling and keeping silent. But now we feel it's too late to bring them back to where they need to be.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen any indication that they are not where they should be, except that they are going out and coming back at a certain time, and they're not keeping her informed of where they have gone. So I think now that they're 18, the parent has to also give the child enough freedom, give the children enough freedom that they should be able to go out and do what they want without her permission as to where they're going or anything like that. Okay. So this is what I said. This is a transition period where the children are actually adults. If they're 18, they are practically adults, no? So an adult does not have to tell everything to their parents. You should not ask too much also. So I think what she needs to do is to, I don't think she should think that she has failed as a parent. If you have brought the children up to where they are maturely taking their own decision, that is actually success as a parent. Okay, you have not failed. But then if you want them to be closer to you, perhaps you should tell them that, look, maybe I've been a little overprotective. It's just that I'm concerned about you. If you don't want to tell me where you're going, that's fine. Go wherever you want. I just hope that you will remember that I am always concerned about your safety. So please go to safe places, drive safely, travel safely, do not drink. These are the concerns that I have. Please always keep this in mind. So tell them honestly about your fears. That this is what I'm concerned about, isn't it? And then tell them that within those parameters, I do want you to be adult and do whatever you like. And I'm not going to ask you all questions about why should you don't need to know everything about their life. Okay. But you can tell them that, look, if you tell me, sometimes I will be happy. So if you put it in these words, the children will respond better than if you tell them that you never tell me anything, you're going off, you got spoiled, you're being very disrespectful. So the tone of voice and the things that we say itself are going to change, no? Then
Yeah.
the children present us that we are putting an emotional baggage on them and we're blackmailing them with emotion and stuff like that.
So here the parent has to learn to withdraw because the same person is
Yeah.
continuing to
Yes,
type on
the parent has to learn to withdraw,
with
and the parent
expectations.
feelings that they are a failure and all that. If the children have grown and they have taken their own decisions, that is success as a parent. It's not failure, it's success. We want the children to be able to take their own decision. We want
Yeah,
them to live their own life. We don't want to live their life for them. We don't want to decide for them. They should
but
decide.
yeah,
Trust
but
your parenting. You have done
yeah,
it till they're 18, 19, which means you have taught them the good things.
yeah,
Now
but
step back, allow them to choose. You can remind them once in a while that, look, please be careful. And you know what my concerns are. Please respect them. I want you to be godly people. I want you to take care of yourself. So explain and talk to them.
yeah, but I think this parent is still typing in the private chat to me saying my son would not look at me, especially when he's with his friend. He would not want to talk to me if I call him
Yes,
out. So it
yes,
looks like
yes.
an
No,
emotional
sure. Let,
disconnect.
let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. That is a perfectly normal thing. Please tell the parent that it's perfectly normal for 19-year-old boys don't want to hang on with their mom in front of their friends. It's not a cool thing to do. And
Right.
we have to accept that, no? That even girls don't want it. So why would boys who are society is pushing them more to be independent and away from their moms, no? So it's not that you will lose them. Please don't think that. That's what I repeated. It appears that friends and teachers and heroes and all that are more important, but never forget that your role is vital. But your role may now be to step back and allow them to go with their friends. But keep a watch, see who their friends are. occasionally ask them that, what are your friends like? Or just tell them once in a while, it would be nice if I met them. Can we have a birthday party for you all, and you come home as well? So your dad and I can also meet your friends. So
Yeah.
be welcoming to them, and
Sorry.
don't expect them to want you to be in the middle of their friends. That is not normal
Big, big,
19-year-old behavior,
yeah,
no?
big error in the question. Instead of 14, she typed 19. So the
Okay,
kids are
even
twins are
14-year-old
14.
boys. 14-year-old boys also are the same.
Same.
They will want to show that they are grown up, that they don't want to be with their mom. But that
Correct.
doesn't mean mom is not important. Mom is important, okay, and more important than for 19. But then, even then, allow them to do this, no? Allow them to feel that they're growing up. But then, 14-year-old boys, you can tell them, I expect you to tell me where you're going.
Right.
Okay? So, you can say that. And 14-year-old boys don't need to come home very late in the night. You can have a cutoff time for them. So these are all things that you need to think through, and negotiate with them at what time do you want to come home. You can't come home at 11 o'clock at night because you have to go to school the next day. I will not allow that. So you
Right.
can set limits, but you have to rationally negotiate with them. Now, you cannot treat them like a 10-year-old where you told them 8 o'clock you have to go to bed. You can't say that. You have to negotiate it more.
So there also has to be an emotional withdrawal. No? Emotion withdrawal. You
Well,
think?
emotional withdrawal, yes. Well, yes, it's more actually just physically not, insisting on them, sort of acknowledging you all the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
or whatever.
correct, correct.
Yeah. There are a lot
Yeah,
of questions in the chat here. I just answer them.
yeah,
What happens in the case of single parenting? I think we have addressed that
yeah,
already,
yeah.
that how it could be done. And even in this case where the father was not so involved, it is basically the mother here doing it. So yes, sometimes that happens. They're single parents and effective single parents. That also can happen. How to respond to an adolescent who is into an unhealthy relationship and is unable to come out of it? Okay. So as I said, we need to prepare the child beforehand for about relationships. Okay. When, how, with whom. We need to role model healthy relationships. Okay. So that the child can see what is a healthy relationship. We need to talk to the child about what relationships are. So as I said, you can talk about it through any means. If you watch a movie, you can talk about it. I remember that one of the first conversations we had with our children about relationships was when they were very small. When there was this TV show called The Small Wonder. Okay, it is about something, I don't know what it was about, but there was this girl. She was only young. She was supposed to be a little kid, but she was always latching on to this boy. Okay, so I remember talking with the kids about it and saying, "What do you think about that girl?" And then they would say, "Gee, she's getting after that boy all the time. Why she wants to go after him?" So they have made a judgment. Okay, they have said that there is no need to latch on to somebody, that it should be a respectful relationship from both sides. They've understood that. Okay, so you can start teaching these things very early. But if it has happened that you haven't managed, that you tried whatever, but whatever it is, even then a child is into an unhealthy relationship, then you need to then respect that they are in a relationship. You can't just say break off. They have to make the decision to break off. You can only advise them that, look, what is this relationship like? Why are you into this? To talk to them about it. Okay, try not to answer the questions, but try not to answer the questions. Try to make them give you the answers. So help them to understand that this is not a healthy relationship. You should get out. After that, you might have to tell them that, look, I do not expect you to be in any relationships till you're older. You might want to tell them that, look, it's not sensible to have romantic relationships when you are so young. Okay, we expect you to wait till you're 18 or whatever you want to decide. What you decide with your spouse, what the age should be, or how you're going to do it, and tell them that, right, this is how we expect you to be, and then negotiate with them. Talk with them about it. That what is it that you want? How do you see this? And let's figure it out. So there's a lot of conversation that has to happen about this. Okay, there is no easy answer again. Then these are the guidelines to it. Okay, there's a question here. Being a single mother, I'm unable to discipline my adolescent son who lost his father. I myself am going through depression, and now my son's aggression is stressing me a lot. I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. And I think that really you should go and get your depression treated and fixed. All right. So try and find some solution to your to your depression, because you need to be healthy mentally and strong. Only then you can handle the child. So remember that the child has also lost his father, so he is also going through his own emotional stresses. So you need to discuss your own with the psychiatrist or psychologist, and then you need to talk to your son about his aggression. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah. Any
and get
questions
help
for
if you need to. Get help if you need to, because this can't be answered in a brief
yeah.
sentence.
Right. I've posted Dr. Jamila's number for anybody who would like to connect with her later, and also our contact details are there. If anybody, if you're here for the first time, please connect with us. We'll be happy to keep you updated and help you out if you're facing any crisis and leading you to the right people. Okay. Any other question? Please go ahead. We are just about to close here. So, Dr. Jamila, I was asking you about because often parents feel like a mother may feel, especially that the child has gone away from her when they grow up. They are not talking to them anymore. They are not paying attention to them. She's no longer their world. So that kind of feelings come. So, and so is there there's a complete emotional breakdown sometimes between parents and kid as they grow up. So is there a way to, and that could have been because of wrong role modeling or whatever. So how does one get back to having that? Uh,
Okay, okay. So see, the thing is that, again, if you are not the child's whole world and they have grown up and they have got other things to do, they are working somewhere, they have other friends, they're married, or they have a relationship with someone, whatever it is, you should see that as a success of your parenting. That is what you are supposed to be doing. You're teaching the child to get grow up and then go away from you. That is the point. That's the whole point. They are going to go and establish their own home at some time and have kids of their own, and a life of their own. That doesn't mean that you are not in their life, but you are not. It's not the same. It's just a different phase of your life. You may be alone, you may have an empty nest, but that is good and normal. Okay, now you have to probably find other interests, you have to find new friends, you have to find new purpose and stuff to do which makes you happy. And you need to continue to be there for the kids when they want you, and they will want you. Okay, they will want to talk to you, they will want you to talk to their children, they will want you to be there, but maybe not 24/7 like they were with us when they were kids. Now it will be uh, 7 days out of 24. You may call them, talk to them. That's normal, that's okay. So again, see that as a success of your parenting. It's not a failure, it's just a stage. Now, if you want, if uh, you had a related question, which was if there is a breakdown, emotional
breakdown,
breakdown,
yeah.
it's now if there's an emotional breakdown, you have to figure out why. No, why is there an emotional breakdown? What happened? Then you figure out how much is your fault, how much is the other person's, the child's fault, and talk about it. No, tell them that, look, I really want to talk to you, and be honest. Say, I really miss you. I really want to talk to you. I know that I made some mistakes myself. Let's have a talk.
Hmm.
Not as parent and child, maybe as friends, a little more as friends. I promise I won't lecture you, but I want to talk. Put it like
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Dr. Jamila, there's also this. There's been a jump in generation, like what's happening with the young people, and now is happening in the life of teenagers also already, like dating or having some kind of couple and all of that. And in my speaking with some of the teenagers casually, they said we go on group dates, so parents can't figure it out. Basically, they go as a group and all of that. And then there's also this thing about them staying back late in the night, and then they tell their parents you are being narrow-minded, too narrow-minded. And then there's also overnight stay that they go to in their friends' places. So how do they navigate? Because parents also sometimes wonder whether they are being too narrow-minded, or when the kids throw it back at them and put them on the back foot that way. So girls and boys want to be together. They said we are hanging out, we are going to each other's home. What is there? But they do misuse freedom, as you said. This is an age that's volatile also with emotions. So How do you set boundaries there?
Yeah. Well, one thing is prevention and one thing is cure. Okay. We have to talk about both. So if you're going to talk about prevention, I think the important thing again is to look ahead and see that these things are happening. No. So children will want to be children. Basically, it is still an issue of having a relationship. So you need to talk to the children about um, the fact that they will be attracted to people of the other sex, and there will be people who are showing interest in them, and you might show interest in someone, you might have an interest in someone. So you're going to have to discuss it with the children beforehand that look, this will happen, and this is how these are the various ways in which you can react. And you might set some rules of your own. Okay, it's good for you to set some basic rules. So for instance, it depends on each family as to what those rules are. Okay, so for instance, you may decide that look, we do not want you to I mean, the rules should be negotiated also with the children. That's all I'm going on saying. You cannot just put arbitrary rules. You have to negotiate it with the children that look, this is what we expect. What do you expect? What would you like? So then if they say something, you negotiate with them. You're going to have to be a little open minded here. So, for instance, if they say we want to have a go and sleep at my friend's house, but I promise I won't do anything, you can say that look, I am particular that you should not be in a close physical relationship with anyone till you are married. That is my goal. Okay, you may say that this is what I want. That I don't want you to be in a close physical or emotional relationship with anyone till you are married. So I don't want you to jump the gun and do it when you're young. I want you to wait till you're older. You may say that. Okay, that this is what I expect. So then the child may agree to that, but they say, look, I want to go for a sleepover, but I promise I won't do anything. I just want to have the fun of the sleepover. So then you may say, all right, I trust you for this, but just remember that this is what you might expect over there. So I can't say that, I can't say what to do in each situation. Okay.
Mm.
But I can say that these are the guidelines. The guidelines are talk and negotiate with the teen beforehand. Expect what is going to happen, but you also have to trust your teen, trust your parenting. You have done, if you have taught the child all this, you have to trust that you have taught the child. If you show trust and you show a sense of, you know, treating the child with respect, the child will come and tell you if they know that you will not simply scold them. Now suppose it happens that the kid goes for a sleepover, or they go out and they find that everyone else is on a group date, only they are not. And then somebody, okay, this is something that's probably happened to somebody. Okay, so they went out on this group thing, all the friends were there, some of them were couples and some were not. And then one boy approached this girl and he tried to sort of get physical with her. Okay, so she may, after, if she trusts you, she'll come back and tell you that mama, this boy tried to touch me and I wasn't sure what I should do, I wasn't sure whether I should allow him or not. Okay, so if you, depends on how you react. No, if you say, see, this is what I told you should not go on group dates, I told you those friends of yours are bad, I will never let you go out again. If this is how you respond, the child is not going to tell you anything ever again.
Right.
Okay, so but if you respond that, oh, I'm sorry that you had a bad time, how did you do it, how did you respond to it? And then you say that, okay, I think you responded pretty well, you were confused but you managed to tell him that no, I'm not interested, I think that's very good, I'm very happy with your response. If you tell it like that, you are giving the child confidence. And then you can tell the child that look, I don't mind if you go out again, but just remember this, that there will be people who approach you, there may be people who try to take advantage of you, there may be people who are very genuinely interested in you, but you need to keep your distance because right now you're too young, and you agreed, remember, that you will not get into anything till you're older. So I expect you to hold on to that. So you may allow her to go because she's already shared her experience with you, no? That look, this happened and I managed to stop it. I was confused. I didn't know whether I should go ahead, but then I told him no and I stopped it. So you have the confidence of knowing that she has made a little bit of a progress, no?
Mm. Right, right.
You, I hope I'm clear here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
depends on how we respond. We have to respect the child. We have to help them to set. We don't see. We set minimum boundaries, and we help them to negotiate that. That's the only way. That's the best way that I can put it. Okay.
I'm sorry. We are so sorry for pulling you beyond 10:30.
No, that's
Uh,
all right.
but there are parents who leave their youngsters alone in their homes for the day, or sometimes even they go out for the weekend or something like that. And there is also stories about them misusing that freedom because they are young, definitely, and all of that. And then there are those occasions where trust is broken completely. You feel you're trusting her, you feel your kid is true to you. So,
Your kid is?
pardon?
You feel your kid is
Is true to you,
true to you.
trustworthy. Yeah, yeah. But
Is
then
not
he or
true to
she,
you.
yeah, I mean, you feel you know your kid. You feel you
Ah,
can trust your kid, but then they still go ahead and break your trust or they play with
okay.
you. So how do
Okay.
you? So there are two questions here. One is, should you leave your youngsters alone in the house for a day or 2 or 3 days? I mean, can they handle that freedom again? And because this has happened where they call friends to their home or that particular friend. And the other thing is, yeah. So if they do break your trust, though you have been trusting them, what are those some of those
Okay. All
punishments
right.
they can
I
carry
get
out?
the
Yeah,
question. I get the question. Okay. So if they have broken your trust and they've broken a rule that you had, for instance, you may have had a rule that when I'm not in the house, you are not allowed to invite anybody over. That might be the rule, right? Or if they come, they
yeah,
should leave after a certain time. They cannot stay the night or whatever it is. You may tell them something before you go. Okay. If they break that rule, you certainly need to they should certainly have the consequences of breaking it. No. So if you've broken that rule and lost our trust, then you have to regain our trust, which means that for a certain number of time you may say that you cannot go to meet those friends for a month or something like that. You may
okay,
say that.
okay,
Perfectly okay. So you can negotiate and give these things and tell them that, look, I'm sorry, I really feel bad that you broke my trust. You know that you were not supposed to do this. So since you've done it, you're going to have to wait for a month before you meet those friends again. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. So you may tell them that. Okay. As an example. So after that, you can say that, look, next time I go out, I may allow you to stay alone again, but just remember that this rule still stands. You're not allowed to call, a group of more than one or two. You can set your own. You figure it out. If there's
right,
somebody that he trusts or something, you may say that you can have that, or you can have them if the mother is also there. Whatever, figure it out. In each case, it will be different. But
right,
whatever you decide, you need to give them an opportunity again to prove their trust.
yes,
So don't be so rigid that you say that forever and ever you've lost my trust and you go around telling everybody that my child is not trustworthy. Obviously, you should not do that. You
right,
don't want to break the child and hurt the child. You want the child to learn from the mistake. So they made a mistake. They're going to face the consequences of it. Now we're going to give you another chance to prove that you're trustworthy.
got it. All right. Okay, friends. I think is there anyone else hesitating to ask anything? Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Jamila. We are so thankful for this wonderful opportunity, and we hope that this both the first half and the Q&A will be a blessing and